Some people will tell you that Katy, Texas is the best place to move to in the state of Texas. And some people won't even touch it with a 10-foot pole. So who's right? Today, I'm gonna be breaking down the pros and cons of living in Katy, Texas. And I'm gonna be breaking down culture, food, home prices, driving, affordability, everything. So stay tuned. If you're thinking about moving to the Katy or Greater Houston area in general, you have come to the right channel. My name is Brandon Snyder. I'm a team leader of Selling with the Snyder Group in the Greater Houston area, and we help families just like you move and relocate to the Greater Houston area from all over the country. And you can actually reach out to us directly below. You can click the link, it'll take you to our information, or you can actually scan this QR code and it will tell you more about us and how we help families just like you relocate every single day. Whether you're moving in the next 30, 90, or even in the next year, we're here to serve your family in their transition to the Greater Houston area. Before we get started, don't forget to download the free relocation guide. You can actually click the link below. It will give you a free relocation guide that tells you what it's like to relocate to the Greater Houston area. This has been compiled from multiple sources, including our own experience of moving to the state from California. Now let's talk about the pros and cons of moving to Katy, Texas. As we do this, we have to talk about why people are moving to Katy, Texas. During the pandemic, just a few years ago, it was one of the fastest growing cities in the country, and for good reason. We're going to talk a little bit about schools, we're going to talk about the culture, about the food, and things you can do here. But one of the things that people move exclusively to Katy for is its proximity to Houston while being far enough away where you don't have to live in Houston. See, Katy is about 25 to 30 minutes west of Houston. It's along the I-10 corridor. And this just continues to be a hub for people because it is in the middle of everything. You're on your way to San Antonio. If you go up 99, you're going to Conroe, Woodland, Spring area. You go south, you're going to Sugarland. So Katy's kind of that central hub. It continues to be the fastest growing suburb in its area by a wide margin because of the master plan communities, because its location to everything, the food, the culture, everything that it offers, the schools. These are all just continuing to be benefits in the Greater Houston area, and Katy continues to highlight one of the main reasons why people keep moving out west from Houston. So with all of those advantages, let's take a deeper dive into why Katy continues to be one of the best places to move and maybe some things that you don't know about that might steer you away. Pro number one is the school district. Katy ISD continues to rank among the top school districts in the Greater Houston area, and there's a reason why. As they continue to build out these new master plan communities, they keep building these new schools with newer technologies, a lower student to teacher ratio, and it just continues to get better overall quality-wise for students in the Katy area. Now, something I will point out for you is that if you don't want to move to the Katy area because of schools, I completely understand because they keep building schools and some of those, and this is because of master plan communities. They keep building these communities out in the Greater Houston area and they keep building them in Katy, and so there's going to be some shuffling around and redistricting, but that means that your student is going to get newer facilities, more state-of-the-art schools, and things that are actually beneficial to student learning. Now let's talk about con number one, I-10. It can be a parking lot. I will tell you that coming from California, nothing's a parking lot. Getting along the I-10 corridor is not too bad, but traffic in general in Katy has become more and more congested as people continue to move to Katy. This is going to be like this across the Greater Houston area, so keep in mind that Katy is not just the only one dealing with this. But because it's grown so much, they are having to build out the infrastructure. They just finished a pretty long reconstruction along the 99 going south into Katy, but now they're building up north because 99 has gotten crowded as you're going into Ellison. There just continues to be this bottleneck of traffic. So if you're looking to move to the Greater Houston area and you don't want to deal with traffic, Katy may not be for you. Pro number two is it is a family-friendly city. Katy boasts a water park. Now, if you're thinking about going to the water park, it can get pretty busy, but it is one of our favorite local attractions in the Greater Houston area because they have things like the 4th of July fireworks, they have events going on pretty often, they have food, it's right next to the mall. There's a ton of things to do in Katy, but the water park happens to be one of the best things you can do. Now, there's also multiple events and things like that for adults. We have multiple outdoor beer gardens and distilleries and things like that. MKT was one of our local haunts. No Label used to be there. There just used to be a lot of different things. One of the things I learned about Katy as it was growing, blowing up through the pandemic, was there's a lot to do in Katy, especially having a mall, having an Andretti go-kart facility. You also have the dugout, which is an indoor batting cage. Think like Topgolf, but with batting cages. There is also a Topgolf along the I-10 corridor, kind of right outside of Katy, along that energy corridor area. There's so much to do in the Katy area. You're not going to run out of things to do. So it's definitely family friendly. Con number 2 happens to just be one of the best and worst things that's happening to most of the greater Houston area, but Katy specifically. Because everyone wants to move here, there's so much construction going on in the area. Like I said earlier, you have 99 going down. You're going to deal with that construction. You're going to deal with construction going up. As they continue to build new communities and new homes, you're going to continue to run into traffic. And I hate to be the person that says it's unavoidable, but it's almost unavoidable across the greater Houston area. But it is pretty congested in Katy, so I can understand if you don't want to move to this area because of that. But if you can get through the traffic issue and some of the construction, I think you're going to really enjoy what Katy has to offer. Pro number 3 is honestly the shopping. I don't think that coming to Houston and coming to the Katy area, I would have valued outdoor shopping with it being like 100 degrees 9 months out of the year. That's a joke, it's not actually 100 degrees, but it feels like it. The outdoor shopping in Katy is incredible. We have La Centera, which has a bunch of different stores and a bunch of different restaurants. Just depending on what you want, it's there. We have some staples like Perry Steakhouse. We have a couple different things like a movie theater you can actually sit in. They just changed the name of it. It's no longer a Alamo Draft House. It's something new now. This literally just happened in the past few weeks. You have so many different things to do. I see so many times there's big green space for the kids to play right outside Ambrisa, which is one of the restaurants they put in the past couple years. There's a Starbucks. So there's just a lot of different things that people come in and do in La Centera. They just hang out. It's the family date night spot. It's the you want to go on a date night, go to Postino's, go get a nice glass of wine and a charcuterie board. Those things are available to you in La Centera. Now, there's indoor shopping at Katy Mills. Katy Mills Mall happens to be a pretty big mall. It's owned by Simon, so you'll see that chain across the U.S., but they have a lot of quality stores in there. They also have a big Bass Pro in there, so there's a lot of things you can do inside, go shopping there. It's right next to a movie theater. There's a movie theater inside the mall. This also happens to be right next to Typhoon, Texas, which is the water park in the area. So keep in mind that this is something that if you want to go shopping, there's plenty of shopping in the Katy area. One thing that I would point out about this is that if you want to see maybe a little bit more luxury shopping, you can actually watch one of our other videos about Cypress and the outdoor walking mall that has some luxury options as well. Con number 3 is property taxes. Katy boasts some of the highest property taxes because the homes are so new. What's happening is the builders are borrowing money to build these communities, and then they're going in and they're basically bringing it back to the consumer to pay higher property taxes because they're building new homes. I understand everyone else besides the great state of Texas has lower property taxes. I understand that. But what I will tell you is that some of these homes are beautiful and they are magnificent and you can get them at an affordable price. And so keep that in mind. Talk to a real estate professional about what tax rates look like and a mortgage professional, because you may find out that the money you're saving in price does outweigh the property taxes. What I'm seeing in Katy in the newer subdivisions is low to mid 3s. In the older subdivisions, it's high 2s, mid 2s. So you will definitely see that there are lower tax rates in certain parts of the Katy area, but just keep in mind, they could be pretty high depending on some of these new construction communities. Pro number 4 is the community. The community in Katy, I will personally say, having lived there for multiple years, is stronger than any community I've been a part of. When Hurricane Harvey hit, Katy rallied together. Half of Katy was underwater during Harvey in 2016. And Katy came together. I remember specifically Academy, they have a distribution warehouse in Katy, north of I-10, and they actually did like a give back event, invited everybody out, come just get free clothes and things, because people lost so many different things. That's the community you get in Katy. When you walk into a restaurant, whether it's local or a chain, you're gonna feel that sense of community. People are gonna know you. There's gonna be things where you just feel at home. You feel that Southern hospitality. You feel that in Katy. Now, that doesn't mean that there's not that in other cities in the greater Houston area, but Katy specifically just has this feel. It feels like a small town, and it is not a small town anymore. And Katy has really grown, but the people are continuing to just pour into each other in this community. And I can't talk well enough about how, when you go to Katy, how it makes you feel. Con number 4, honestly, has to do with being a little bit farther away from Houston. I think the challenge that people have when we think about, oh, I want to be near Houston, you're 30 minutes away from Houston. If you want to go into town and go explore nightlife and certain restaurants and things like that, you're driving 30, 45 minutes to go do it, and that's not assuming traffic. So when I think about moving to the greater Houston area, I think about maybe potentially living a little bit closer to Houston, so I'm closer to some of the nightlife and things like that. Now, that doesn't mean that there's not nightlife in Katy, but it kind of slows down a little bit. You still have things like Pop Stroke, which is Tiger Woods' mini golf course that you can take your kids to, but at night it turns into more of an adult scene. You have some restaurants, some higher end restaurants, but there's not really a nightlife in Katy. So for me, con number 4 has to be that you have to go into Houston to really go enjoy nightlife. Pro number 5, and I kind of touched on it, is food. The food in Katy is incredible. We actually have Katy Asian Town, which is right on the I-10-99 corridor. It has a ton of options for you for food. If you want Malaysian street food, I highly recommend going and checking it out there. They have sushi places, they have pho restaurants. They have pretty much every type of Asian style food that you can imagine. They have a creperie. There's an H-Mart there so you can go shopping. Everything is in there. The food is incredible. One of my favorites, Cowbell Burger. It's really good. You should go check it out. It's Korean style hamburgers. Really good. When we think about Katy, about 10 years ago, we didn't have all this. Katy Asian Town wasn't even a thing yet. And now it's really blown up and become its own ecosystem. That's not the only food that's good there. Highly recommend checking out Pearl and Vine. It's right off of the I-10. It is American cuisine. It's a higher end restaurant. Highly recommend date night, anniversary, something special for you and your family. Definitely recommend checking out Pearl and Vine. But the food in Katy is incredible and you should go check it out. I think the final con, but it can be a plus if you want. The final con that I have for you is the weather. Katy, Texas, just because it's farther away from the concrete jungle that is Houston, does not mean that it's cooler. It is actually just as hot. The good thing is we have Typhoon, Texas. You can go hang out at the water park if it's too hot for you. Katy, Texas continues to be hot. You're not seeing any drop in temperature. There's just so many buildings and things like that. So even if you were trying to get rural and get a few degrees dropped in temperature, you're not getting that in Katy. It's going to continue to be hot. Just something to keep in mind, it does rain a lot. This is Houston, greater Houston area we're talking about. If you're going to Katy, we're on the outer bands of the West Houston area. You're just going to see rain. It happens. Just be prepared for that. And that would be one of my least talked about things, just because we've been living here for so many years. It's just kind of, where's the weather? So just keep in mind, if you don't want to move to Houston in general because of the weather, I completely respect that. But just know it can be sunny and it can be raining 5 minutes later. So that's probably the least bad of the 5 cons I was talking about for Katy. I think one of the things to keep in mind is that if you are looking to move to Katy, you're probably one of a few categories. You're probably a growing family, probably a young first-time home buyer. Maybe you're looking for a new home. This is really the suburbs without being in the middle of Narnia. And I really want you to look at this as how far away from Houston can I get while not overpaying? Katy used to be cheap. It's not anymore. It's growing up, but you can still find homes in the mid to high 200s. And then it starts pushing up. And I mean, there's homes in the millions in Katy, but for the most part, it's still fairly affordable, but those prices continue to go up. But if you're in one of those categories, Katy is probably for you. Now, Katy is not for you if you want to be closer to all the action in Houston. If you're working downtown, you may not want to drive from Katy to Houston every day, deal with the traffic that comes with that and things like that. If you don't want to deal with a toll road, you may not want to move to Katy, because if you go north or south, you have to pay a toll to get anywhere. Kind of a lot. If you want a walkable urban lifestyle, it may not be for you. Just giving you a lot of different options in Houston. You can walk pretty much everywhere if you live in one of the Edo or the Montrose or the Heights areas. You can walk to your local hangouts. Katy's a little bit harder. You do have to drive to a lot of places. And if you want nightlife right outside your door, Katy is not for you. You probably need to live closer to Houston. Katy's earned its reputation as one of the most desirable suburbs around Houston, and we gave you quite a few reasons why. I think the best part about it is that it offers a ton of different options for schools, for restaurants, for housing. It really gives you a suburban feel, and it gives you a lot of options, so you don't have to go live in Houston to enjoy a lot of things. Like any city, it has its drawbacks. There's some things that you may not like about it, and Katy may not be for you. But for those who call Katy home, they love it, and they love being there, and there's a reason why it continues to show up at the top of people's lists. If you're thinking about moving to Katy or any of the other areas in the greater Houston area, our team would love to help. Whether you're relocating next month or you're just starting your search, we have a team of professionals that help people like you, day in, day out, move to the greater Houston area. You can find all of our contact information in the description below. And remember, you can actually download the relocation guide that tells you even a little bit about Katy and what it's like to move out here to the greater Houston area. I want to hear from you. Where do you want to hear from us next? Comment below. Let us know where you're moving from and where you want to see. And we'll see you next time.